If you've ever stood in front of a keyboard and thought, I need something that just works, that lets me get music out without fighting the controls, and that won't drain my wallet, you're not alone. The biggest fear is buying a piece of gear that looks impressive on paper but turns your practice room into a maze of menus and endless tweaking. I've spent a few weeks digging into what Yamaha's 61-key arranger actually does in real life, watching YouTubers break it down, scrolling through forums where players compare it to other mid-range keyboards, and testing the workflow myself. The goal here is simple: let you decide if this keyboard will sit quietly in the corner of your bedroom or become the centerpiece of your home studio without any surprise regrets. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First thing to notice is the mindset behind an arranger keyboard. It isn't built to be a stage monster synth, it's meant to give you a full band feel with just one set of hands. Yamaha calls the accompaniment styles Pro Style, and that's exactly the promise. Press a chord, and a whole rhythm section kicks in. For a songwriter who likes to sketch ideas quickly, that can be a massive time saver. Imagine you're sitting at your kitchen table with a half-finished lyric. You throw an A major chord, and the keyboard automatically pulls in bass, drums, and a pad that follow the chord progression. In my tests, the transitions were smooth, and the style library felt large enough that you never hit a same old wall too quickly. That convenience comes with a trade-off. The more automation you rely on, the less you get to shape each instrument independently. The built-in mixer lets you adjust levels for drums versus piano, but you can't, for example, change the drum pattern mid-phrase without stepping into the style editor. If you're the type who loves to fine-tune every drum hit or layer a custom synth line over an acoustic piano, you'll quickly feel the limits. So the keyboard is a perfect match for hobbyist composers, solo performers, and teachers who want a quick, polished backing track without diving into a DAW. If you're a producer who expects granular control over every instrument, you'll likely reach for a computer-based solution instead. One of the most talked about features is the joystick controller. On paper it sounds like a novelty, but in practice it works like a mini pitch bend wheel that can also control modulation. I found it especially useful when trying to add subtle vibrato to a vocal style patch. Moving the joystick just a few millimeters added a natural, expressive wobble that a static keyboard can't replicate. The control knobs sit right above the keys, and each one is assigned to a different parameter like reverb depth or chorus rate. Because they're real-time, you can tweak the sound while a song is looping, which brings a live performance vibe to a home setting. The downside? The knobs are not motorized, so if you accidentally bump one while playing, the sound changes for the rest of the track. For anyone who likes a set-it-and-forget-it workflow, you'll have to be a bit more disciplined. Yamaha Super Articulation 2, SA2, voices are another selling point. They promise a realistic response for instruments such as saxophone, trumpet, and even string sections. When I loaded a sax patch and played a quick melodic line, the sound reacted to key velocity and aftertouch in a way that felt surprisingly organic. The benefit shines most when you're performing live with a microphone. Those nuanced dynamics translate into a richer tone on stage. However, the SA2 engine still runs on the keyboard's internal DSP, which means it can't match the depth of a dedicated virtual instrument plugin on a laptop. In a critical listening environment, the nuance is there, but it's not as detailed as a high-end sample library. If you're wondering about the included content, Yamaha bundles a selection of styles and a few demo songs to get you started. They're not exhaustive, but they give a solid foundation for anyone who's new to arrangers. The play-along mode is a handy way to learn chord progressions. The keyboard lights up the keys you need to press, which is a great teaching tool for beginners. For seasoned players, that same feature can feel a bit patronizing, but you can simply disable it and use the keyboard as a standalone instrument. Practical considerations extend beyond the sound. The 61-key layout is a sweet spot for many home users, big enough to play most pop, rock, and folk arrangements, yet compact enough to fit on a small desk. The keys have a light-weighted feel, not fully hammer type, which means you can play for long sessions without fatigue. However, if you're a classical pianist accustomed to fully weighted keys, the action may feel too light, especially for fast runs. That's a personal preference, but it's worth trying before you commit. Power consumption is another hidden factor. The unit runs on an AC adapter, and the built-in speakers are modest but adequate for a bedroom or small rehearsal space. If you plan